sign up for this program,
Probably there's
that you can cover your overdrafts with this. Is there a monthly payment on this? Monthly charge, I think originally I was saying had an assessment per month that you could charge, but there was no maximum minimum on it, and I just wondered if there wasn't.
Sure, on this, because it's a line of credit, my understanding is you would be approved for a certain amount. So say the lender would approve you for $1,000, say you don't need that $1,000 today. Maybe you only need 200 of it. So then you would take the loan out off the line of credit for 200. And so obviously those charges will vary based on how much of that line of credit you've taken out and you agree to with the lending institution.
Thank you.
Senator Say, any other questions?
So there is a line of credit, like you can get at the bank. You can get a line
Under
of
this?
credit. You can get a line of credit at a bank.
You could get, if a customer could qualify for a line of credit, yes, they could get one from a bank. This customer generally is not someone who can qualify for a line of credit at a bank. Or also looking at the size of the credit line, it's not one that banks usually like because their underwriting processes don't allow them to, again, lend.
So open-end credit plans means there is a maximum credit limit.
Right.
But you just draw on what you need.
Correct. The
Up
term
to
is
the
open.
maximum.
Correct. The term is open, but they would give you the dollar amount that you could lend, borrow up to. Correct.
Okay, so tell me, if I want to do this, where would I go?
There are institutions that you can do online, which are most of my clients' online lenders. So you would go to one of their websites, you would do an application similar to a credit card application, which has your income, all those types of things. Then what they would do, what happens in a matter of seconds, although it's checking, thousands of data points, like a credit card company or any other financial institution would, seeing your credit worthiness and whether or not, what amount they will open the credit line up for you for, and then that's my client. Now, of course, other lenders, I think you'll hear just quickly from another lender who's more of a traditional storefront type lending facility. They could also do this.
So there are brick and mortar
Absolutely.
places also.
Absolutely. Both online and brick and mortar.
We'll listen to the witness from the brick and mortar. Thank you.
Any other questions for the witness? Seeing none. Anyone else to testify in favor? House Committee Substitute, House Bill 2130.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Mark Rhodes. I'm here representing Cash America, a bricks and mortar lender. Cash America engages in various types of financial services. It includes prepaid credit cards, check cashing, we do tax filing services, and we do cash advances. We're very much in favor of this bill because it clarifies and codifies.
Tell me, what I want to know is, what are we doing with this language that's different than today?
I think what you're doing, Mr. Chairman, is if you take a look at the subsection 1, I think what you're doing, or what we're attempting to do, is very clearly define what this line of credit is. Can we do it now under other statutes? Yes, we can. But I think it clarifies exactly what this product is.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else to testify in favor? House Committee Substitute for House Bill 2130. Seeing none. Anyone to testify against? House Committee Substitute for House Bill 2130. Seeing none. Anyone to testify for informational purposes only on House Committee Substitute for House Bill 2130. Closes the hearing on House Committee Substitute for House Bill 2130. That brings us to Mr. Duggar again. One of the days with him. We will hear at the same time. Hear them concurrently. House Committee Substitute for House Bill 2271 and House Committee Substitute for HJR 90. Concurrently.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. With House Bill 2271 and HJR 90, we are talking about early voting in the state of Missouri. And basically, HJR 90 sets up a constitutional provision that would give the voters an opportunity to decide whether or not they would like to have a 3-week period of early voting. The House bill, then House Bill 2271, would set up basically some more in-depth guidelines of how we would do early voting in the state of Missouri. And I believe that I would start with like the 3rd Saturday out and go till the Tuesday immediately preceding the election. There would be no Sunday voting in my bill. The polls would be open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays, and for a 4-hour period on Saturdays, for the 2 Saturdays that I believe that it takes in. I would have one voting center, one in each county, or one for every 100,000 people, and it would be evenly distributed throughout the county or throughout the Senate district. Both of these bills had bipartisan support. They both had 126 votes in the House, and so both sides of the aisle was in support of this. My bill does require that the state pay for the early voting. I do understand that this bill is a work in progress, and I have asked Senator Krause to carry these bills for me, and I know that he will continue working on these bills.
Yeah, I wouldn't even loan $20 to.
I know. I wish you had told me that before I got to ask you. But I think that, you know, that he's going to take these 2 bills and hopefully work on them maybe even more than what I've done. You know, there's just a couple of things that I would just, you know, like to have in these bills. And the first is that we do not put the cost of early voting off on the county government. That if we're going to do early voting, that the state does pay for it. And then the other thing that I would request is that we not do voting on Sundays. When you open up voting, you're not just talking about having a voting center out here and having 2 election judges on it. You're talking about the Secretary of State's office has to be open. Every election authority and then election board office in the state would have to be open, as well as the manpower that it would take to run these voting centers. So we're literally talking about thousands of people across the state that we would have to put to work on Sunday to implement voting on that day. So I would just like, as the bill moves forward, that you at least take those 2 things into consideration. And I'm very open to working with you guys on this bill as it advances forward.
I've been hearing quite a bit, getting an earful from my clerks on some of this myself. I get confused on your language after the day, before the this and after that. How many days are we talking about here with this bill?
Talking about 9 days.
Yes, Senator Krause.
So, Representative, let's talk a little bit about Sunday and the staffing of these offices. You've been working with Clerk more than I have on this, but my understanding is it's already going to be challenging for them to staff it during the normal work week and on Saturday. If you throw a Sunday, what's your take on how hard that's going to be for them to get people, especially in the rural parts of Missouri,
right,
to work on Sundays?
It is going to be hard to get people to work on Sunday. You know, I would foresee that people, you know, in the county where I live, they would be so opposed to voting on Sunday that they might even be picketing, you know, the offices to be open on Sunday. They would be that much adamantly opposed to voting on Sunday. But it's a busy time for the election authorities across the state. This entire period that we're talking about for early voting, I mean, it's a time when they have to, they're already doing absentee voting in their offices. You know, they're having to staff all the election areas. They're having to test voter equipment. You know, they're having to get all the supplies and everything ready to get out for these polls to be open on election day. And so it's just a busy time for them. Now, my bill would allow them to be in the smaller jurisdictions to do their early voting within their office, you know, which would help cut down on having to go out and staff a complete new center.
Thank you.
Anyone else to, yes, sir, you
Yes,
said?
thank you. So you're gonna be over on Saturdays, 2 Saturdays,
It would be 2 Saturdays, yes, for our period, yes.
and you have to have 2 election judges.
You know, you would, and if you set up a voting center, you would have to have at least 2 election judges. If you do it along with the normal absentee process in the county clerk's office, they would be able to do it there with the staff most likely that they have.
Okay. I wonder how that was set, wonder how that was set for some of our people, knowing that the voting could be compromised because there's not
Well,
election judges.
but it's the way we currently do absentee voting.
Yeah.
I mean, we do that the same way
Okay.
in the state currently.
Okay, so if they do it at the county clerk's office, then there won't be a need for election judges
There won't be the need to hire the
to
election
hire
judges.
them. But if you had a different site, you would have
You
to.
would have to,
You would
yes.
have to. Okay.
I think I know what you're thinking. In my county, it's the same way. My people have no trouble hiring electors.
Yeah, they can.
Electors.
Right, I mean, they're,
They really do have trouble getting them.
uh-huh,
It would be very difficult.
okay.
Yes, Senator Cunningham.
Tommy, tell me a little bit about designated sites. How do you control those, or can you, or?
I require that they be evenly distributed throughout, and I believe my language mirrors what we did with Senate Bill 2 or 3 back in 2011, that they got to be so mirrored in the Senate districts so that they're evenly, spread without the election authorities district. You can't just put them all in one spot, in my bill.
I know it's a little questionable, but I don't know how you would control the sites as far as where they go.
Right, I mean, you could, I guess you couldn't control the actual spot that they put them in, but you could at least, you would at least only have one spot for every 100,000 people. And so you couldn't have more, I mean, if you had a population of 400,000, you couldn't have more than 4 spots, and you can